when a Christian sins, is there ever any hope of being able to come back and be restored? Can you ever find happiness again? Have you been sentenced to a life of punishment? In every church, there are people who commit public sin as Christian people. And invariably, they end up leaving the church. You never see them again, some of them. They run, and they spend the rest of their life running and hiding and hurting and paying the price and being punished. Does God have anything to say to you? I've got such great news for you today. And I'm praying for you today. I'm pouring out my heart for you today. Whoever you are, whatever circumstance you're in. Some of you have got sons and daughters who have sinned, and they love the Lord, and the sin hurts. So I'm going to read to you the most classic passage about this. We've all heard about this. All of us know this story. But I promise you, God has shown me something fresh. I'm not sure that I've ever seen these things. I'm going to be in Luke chapter 15, beginning at verse 11. And I want to really encourage you to have a copy of God's Word in front of you, because God's Word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our pathway. God is the one. So if you'll beg my pardon for just a minute, I am not going to ask our church what we as a church think we should do about people who sin, if that would be all right with you. I'm not going to ask the Pope. I'm not going to ask Don Wilton. I'm not going to ask some very spiritual person. I'm not going to ask anybody. I want to ask God. I want to look into His face. I want to ask God what it is that He has to say to a Christian who sins. And this is what Jesus said in Luke chapter 15, and I'm just going to read you the story, and I'm going to show you something amazing. And Jesus said there was a man who had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me." And he divided his property among them. And not many days later, the young son gathered all that he had, and he took a journey into a far country. And there he squandered his property recklessly. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine arose in that country, and he began to be in need. So he went out and hired himself to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his field to feed pigs. How low can you go? And he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise, I will go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I've sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants.' And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to the servant, bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to celebrate. Now his oldest son was in the field. And he came and drew near to the house, and he heard music and dancing. And so he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and your father has killed the fattened calf, because he has received him back safe and sound. But he was angry. And he refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him, and he answered his father, look, Father, these many years I have served you, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when the son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him. And Jesus said to him, Son, said the father, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost, and now he is found. 3 facts about sin. Just want to put these on the table. Number 1, sin separates. Sin separates. When you and I sin, it causes separation to take place. Number 1, from God. God is totally, diametrically, and in every way opposed to any form of sin. And when you and I sin, you will become separated from God. And if you're a believer, you're not separated from Him unto salvation. You don't lose your salvation. You cannot lose your salvation. But you will be separated from the joy of your salvation.